Lufthansa?
Yeah, that
The
one. Yeah,
Lufthansa?
yeah, it's kind of hard to say.
The
So
Jimmy Burke heist.
yeah, yep, that one. So kind of talk about that one. I mean, that was operated by the Lucchese's, or who was all affiliated. There was some,
The airport belonged to everybody. The airport belonged to everybody. It's just that Jimmy was friends with all crime families. Vinny Ashara was a Banano captain. His father was a Banano boss, and that was probably one of Jimmy Burke's closest friends. And probably the only guys that didn't get clipped were guys outside the Lucchese family on that heist.
shit. I think he did take out some associates.
Yeah, he killed him.
Yeah, Lucchese guys.
Yeah,
No other crime family guys.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Who was the guy that was the inside connection? That he's the one that knew Henry Hill, right?
Yeah,
Right.
what the hell?
Lefferts Boulevard, Roberts Lounge on Lefferts Boulevard, where my crew used to hang out.
Right, but
They used to hang out at Roberts Lounge. He was a security guard. He worked the night shift at the Lufthansa, and he was saying supposedly for like a year going on, you got to see what's coming in and out of here on this night shift.
Yeah,
Jewelry,
like once a month.
unguarded money.
That's how they got the score, because
And he brought it to Jimmy.
They could have went
Right.
to somebody around John. They could have went to somebody else, and then
Right.
Said, anybody.
Absolutely.
But they went to him, and they put the score together, did it, and that was it. And they would have to.
I mean, everybody got theirs. The way they made it seem in that movie. And I mean, I can tell you, I grew up on 101st Avenue, from Drew Street to 76th Street, and my aunt was good friends with Johnny Roast Beef's wife. They were never found. My aunt thought she went until the day my aunt died. They lived on 78th Street, actually across the street from where Jojo Carrazzo's father moved, who was a really nice guy. He used to live on 78th Street off 101st Avenue. She actually lived right across the street. And my aunt was very good friends with her. And she happened to be Johnny Roast Beef's wife, fiance, whatever she was at the time. And one day they just picked up and left. Her clothes were still there. They thought they went to the witness protection or whatever it was back then. Because as you all know, Jimmy Burke never went away and did Fed time. He died in state prison. He never did a day for the Lufthansa heist.
No, he
got him on with the murders. They recharged him for what they did in Florida. He did that Fed time. But other than that, when he died just, what was it, 10, 15 years ago, of stomach cancer, he died in the state prison in upstate New York.
Yeah, and I think it was over some rigging college numbers or some shit.
Well, no, that's not why he got life. There was a few murders behind that. But they fixed that college basketball game where they had the whole team in on it. It was kind of like what Arnold Rothstein did with the Black Sox. The whole team was in on it, and the refs.
Damn.
Yeah,
so that's what they
used to fix. They fixed horse races like that. We growing up on Aqueduct and Belmont, where every jockey in the race was in on it. I mean, I've seen that growing up my whole life.
Damn. So I mean, but ultimately with that heist, they ended up he wanted to keep all the money, so he wanted to take out everyone. Is that?
That's another story by Henry. Wasn't even in on the heist. That's why he couldn't testify to it when he put everybody in jail. The guy that got hurt the most, who died of a heart attack on the track in Texas, was Paul Vario. That's the only person that was close to Henry Hill, and nobody else was that close to Henry Hill. D. Simone already disappeared. Jimmy Burke already did that Fed time with him over the drugs and the attempted murder, and he didn't have to spend the day. There was some old murder beefs. They got Jimmy on. He went to trial. He blew trial. He wound up getting natural life in the state. But other than that, from my understanding, if you actually could go listen to the tapes. Vinny Ashara is actually complaining about the $500,000 he got from the score. And Vinny Ashara was a guy on the outside. He just happened to be very good friends with Jimmy Burke. And then there was I can say names because he's dead. Mike DeVita was a Lucchese wise guy who got straightened out later in life, whose brother set me up. Dino put me away for 2 years. He was involved in that. There's certain guys that open junkyards. That one of them is still alive today. The other one passed away. The guys got their end. You know what I mean? The guys that didn't were the Johnny Roast Beefs, the Frankie Carbones, the guys that they thought were going to be no good. Guy like Stax who left the truck in the middle of nowhere with his prints on it. They didn't whack everybody. Jimmy was going to get 50% of that money. They cleared $8 million, and the guy who got the jewelry was from East New York. Larry, you probably know them, from the Eastern Parkway Boys, and he's the one that actually got all the jewelry from the Lufthansa and almost got to keep all of it because Jimmy never even came around for the money because he was that generous. He made that kind of money, Jimmy. So what you see in that is Henry's take on it, and Henry really didn't know that much, because if he did, he would have put a lot more people away on that Lufthansa. He didn't even truly know all the guys that were involved in it. He knew that the security guard came into Robert's Lounge, got drunk, and had a big mouth, and that all the guys that hung out at Robert's Lounge on Levitt's Boulevard were going to play some kind of part in it, who was going to be a lookout. Because you got to remember, when they went in there, I think they tied up like 15, 20 people. There was a lot of people that were in there when they went in there. So they needed guys. And from my understanding, it went smooth. They told everybody, he's got nothing to worry about. Nobody's going to get hurt. Do what you're told. Go in the next room. Nobody got clipped. Nobody got hurt. There were civilians in there, meaning during the heist. And, I think it was 3 hours, 4 hours. And they told the person, wait about 2 hours and then report it. They were already long gone upstate, changed, went on the lam, got rid of the money, dropped the jewelry off in East New York. It was very well planned. Everybody was in on it. And everybody who was supposed to be taken care of was taken care of, because the airport the 5 families each had a piece of the airport. So you couldn't just walk into the airport and take what you wanted, even though Jimmy Burke was probably the most feared guy on the street at the time.
Any thoughts on that, Larry?
Well, he said it very well. I don't really know a lot about the story other than what I saw in the movie, to be totally honest. And the newspapers. I remember reading about it. But everything you said makes a lot of sense, especially that Henry didn't hurt them on that. And I didn't know that Jimmy Burke was that generous and all of that. I'm not arguing that point either. So no, I think he said it well.
Yeah. Well, do you guys have any other topics you want to talk about before we wrap up?
Well, I'm going to fix this. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to make sure the voice stays good. There we go. Well, I started a second book. It's funny you ask. And I've already got 2 places that want it first. And I started doing it during the pandemic. It's all about the gambling world. I was very much involved in that many years ago. I'm still a consultant for some offshore places in Costa Rica. And I built up a real big business. I was known as the Lefty Rosenthal of the Colombo family for quite some time. And so I wrote a book on all the various characters you meet, all the different, and I weaved it into a story based on a lot of true stuff, but all different names. I'm going to lower this thing. It's based on actual events, but like I said, I just changed a lot of names and things like that. It's minor stuff. It's gambling. It's program. I'm not going to cause any problems for anybody, but just the same, I didn't think I should put any real names in. Some of them you may recognize just from the closeness of the name, or if I describe a person, a 5'2" underboss, you know who I'm talking about.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip. This clip came from one of my interviews I did in the past. Please hit subscribe if you want to get more clips like this. Also, if you want to watch the full interview, I'll put a link in the description. Or you can hit the button on the screen to watch the full interview.